The higher education sector attracts many students now eager to learn, create and prosper through increasingly familiar technology. Degree offerings have expanded in response to such digital demand. For example, in 2007, the UK's University and Colleges Admission Services indicates that some 298 music technology specialisations alone now exist across Britain's colleges and universities. In Australia, Edith Cowan's WAPA, Griffith University, QUT, RMIT, Victorian College of the Arts and others continue to attract and graduate significant numbers of artists, and according to DEST statistics, growing steadily at the rate of 2% a year, as opposed to IT enrolments. Interesting figures. Meanwhile, from MySpace to YouTube, Flickr and Last.fm, an online participatory culture is transforming value systems and creating new pathways for autonomous innovation. In this so-called Web 2 phenomenon, social networks continue to define the information society and in turn redefined artistic career opportunities quite different to traditional training preconceptions of a former era. Yet in music, although the romanticised 70s-style star-driven model of the record company, the artist, the multi-million-dollar studio is no longer widespread, the classroom reveals that many students maintain outmoded ideas of just what professional musicians do and how they make a living. Inexperience, together with the folklore of the trade magazines and mass media hyperbole, continues to assert this. Similarly, faculty, staff and administrators may remain decades out of touch with contemporary, perhaps puzzling, viral practices, as recently argued by MIT researchers. In our adult lives, we're depending more on others to provide information we cannot process ourselves. Our schools are not teaching what it means to live and work in such knowledge communities, but popular culture may be doing so. University-based creative arts faculties may rightly argue to be places of higher learning, art for art's sake, not necessarily connected to commercial outcomes, but rather to promote higher order thinking, creativity and excellence in craft. Still, neither can music educators afford to ignore the fact that many students desire vocational success and to be able to work rewardingly as professional artists. Responsive training does not necessarily mean a shift away from core skills. It does, however, speak directly to the imperative to acknowledge authentic context for artistic and intellectual craft. Graduate success will continue to demand high-calibre artistry, but also fluid abilities and the technological imagination with which to respond to transformed next-generation 2.0 opportunities. This Wednesday's keynote is by Sue Baker from the Victorian College of the Arts. She examines the idea of art schools as a new cultural economy in the information age. In this, Sue asks the questions, what is the infrastructure for such a place, and what tools, pedagogy and organisational systems do we set up to support it? And how do we shift from a model of teaching a pre-existing body of knowledge to facilitating the discovery of knowledge not yet formed? So here I wish to attempt a partial response to Sue's question by turning to a recent experiment led by the Queensland Conservatorium Research Centre and its partners during the June to August of 2007. This year was the 50th anniversary of the Queensland Conservatorium, with celebrations and feature performances being undertaken throughout 2007. One central theme that was pursued was that of an operatic celebration of Orpheus, the mythical Greek musician. In all, there were 4 featured events around this theme. In June, Offenbach's parody of the legend of Orpheus in the Underworld was performed in the Conservatorium Theatre. In July, and on the occasion of its 400th anniversary, Monteverdi's original version of L'Orfeo was performed in the Masonic Temple in Brisbane as part of the Queensland Music Festival. And in September, the Con's major theatre production for 2007 was Gluck's famous opera, Orfeo et Eurydice. In other words, a pre-existing body of knowledge, preserved and recast to new audiences is befitting a world-class conservatoire celebrating an important birthday. But the shift in modelling such a work to facilitate a deeper understanding of the Orpheus legend came in the form of the 4th project entitled iOrpheus, Art Among Us, an experimental work, a new kind of opera spanning time and spaces using contemporary technology, opening the famous mythical themes to interpretation, echo, improvisation, and led by US internet music pioneers William Duckworth and Nora Farrell. Let me give you a bit of background on them. Nora Farrell is a software engineer specialising in programming web applications for the publishing and music industries. Mediated communication and community are central to Nora's creative work, where she draws on RSS and data feeds, virtual instruments, social networks and open source to build her sound palette, mixing multiple streams live in connected performance. She designs custom applications and virtual instruments, including a multi-user pitch web that allows people to play together online in real time, and the mobile pitch web recently premiered in Tokyo in March 2007. William Duckworth is a professor of music at Bucknell University, a composer, performer and author whose work is known worldwide. In 1997, Bill and Nora began the Cathedral Project, the first interactive work of music and art on the web. Visitors to the Cathedral site now total over 4 million, and its development is chronicled in Bill's book, Virtual Music, How the Web Got Wired for Sound. His recent honours include the 2001 ASCAP Deems Taylor Internet Award, the 2002 Award in Music from the Foundation for Contemporary Arts, and a Senior Fullbright Specialist Award for the iOrpheus project, known locally as the iPod Opera. This was a public opera based on the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. From June through August, Bill and Nora worked with Conservatorium staff, technicians, students and general public to come to a different understanding of the art, to inject their interpretations and improvisations into a new kind of fluid and open opera. Performed on iPods, mobile phones and laptops, along with interactive installations and live performers, iOrpheus took place on Friday, August 31st, 2007, across a range of sites throughout Brisbane South Bank Parklands. The project was documented by Griffith Film School students and led by MA Honours candidate, film producer and director Paul Draper. It now gives me great pleasure to present this first public screening of iOrpheus the movie.